Well, here you go. Is this okay?
Yes, this is fine. Thank you. For your trouble.
Why, thank you, sir. Well, I'm off. Heading north of the castle. Maybe I'll see you again sometime.
You just may. Farewell, sir.
Hello, my friend. Welcome. Welcome to the town of Vauxville. I trust your travels were not too unpleasant?
Just fine, thank you.
Excellent, excellent. My name is Udo. I am a seller of rare and precious trinkets, as well as a great source of news for the town and all across the valley.
You mean you're a gossip?
Call me what you may, as long as you call me friend.
We'll see.
Ah, cautious. I like that. Please come and see me anytime you need anything.
It's a little wooden stand, complete with a charming canvas awning. You bet the little guy who mans the booth made it himself. The sign reads Vauxville. It looks like it was carved a long time ago and could use some cleaning up. You see the barrel, which is unremarkable, but then you think of how funny it would be if you had some angry dwarf shoved in there yelling and pounding on the wood. You have nothing to say to that. It's a pretty little alcove. You wonder who usually hangs out there. This guard is fat. You don't think he could chase off a pickpocket, let alone solve any real crimes. You start to talk, then you remember you're not an imbecile and stop.
Good day, sir.
Yes, it certainly is.
I would stay and chat, but I must be going. We've got so much happening today. Rayford wanted me to go get something, but I can't remember. We so rarely have public executions. You are coming to the public square, right?
Of course, friend. Wouldn't miss this.
Excellent. See you there. Make crime always cower in the light.
Indeed. Well, this should be an interesting day. I should make my way to the public square, eventually.
It doesn't understand what you're saying. Well, it's no market of Wall, but you suppose they have the kinds of supplies that could help you survive here?
There's a sign that says goods hanging near this door, so you assume that it leads to the goods store. These large barrels hold lard. Lots and lots of lard, like your ex-girlfriend. You peer along the massively stocked shelves of the store. You spy several interesting items. Fried beans, because beans make you fart. This is the general store. You see shelves stacked to overflowing with goods that would be used in everyday life. He looks like he enjoys butchering things. Probably a good way to deal with the stress of being married to Gwen. She's a stout but sweet-looking lady. You bet she could kill you faster than any other man you've ever met. The girls of Volksville. Nice. This is the general store. You see shelves stacked to overflowing.
Hello, young master. Welcome to the Owens General Store and Meat Emporium.
Butcher shop. Meat Emporium sounds like a whorehouse.
Oh, you'd know a whorehouse, wouldn't you?
Maybe. I found you in one.
You were the chamber pot boy.
You were the chamber pot.
I love you, dear.
Love you too, honey buddy.
Well, this is lovely.
Hey, you tried running a store with your significant other. You have to do something to keep yourself from going nuts.
Understood.
Well, we're just about to close up to go to the execution. So if you need something, just stop on back afterwards, okay, honey?
Will do. You do. Stay pleasant.
This barrel once held some top-quality tobacco leaf. You can smell it. Now it's just a decoration. I bet, though, if you burn the barrel, it would smell great.
This door leads into the tobacconist. You're inside Armand's tobacco shop. The aroma in here is enchanting. Many dried leaves hang, and the wood in here is beautifully carved. You take a glance at Armand. He's dressed in fancy silks and other imported materials and has a great medallion around his neck. You can tell by his wares that he's a man who thinks he has impeccable taste, which means he's probably full of crap.
Good afternoon, fair trader of smoked goods.
Aha, good afternoon, young master. How are you?
Better now that I know this place is here.
Ah, thank you. I am Armand, purveyor of the finest tobacco and smokable leaf in all the lands.
You can call me Rowan.
And indeed I will, Mr. Rohan. Be assured, every item in here is of the finest quality. I have selected my imports by hand, and any purchase you make shall be a wonderful delight for you to enjoy in your leisure time.
I'm a big fan of leisure time.
Here, try a bit of these.
That is delightful.
Ah yes, imported Kenmati leaf from the realm of Anengoti, the finest. I must close up for a moment before the execution, but please stop by again and we can discuss the finer things I have to offer.
Sounds excellent. See you soon.
Everything in here is amazing, sir. I highly recommend the Sir Dave's of Romerio blend.
It's a door, dumbass. It's a well. Not much to see here, at least from up here. You don't want to fuss with the well right now. You don't need water, and frankly, right now, you don't need trouble. You'd knock on the door, but you really have no desire to be polite. You start to talk, then you remember you're not an imbecile and stop. The base of the gargoyles reveal two names, Vigo and Hector. How droll. A creepy old house stares back at you, dark, ominous, foreboding, your kind of place. By the sigil on the door, you deduce that it is a magic shop. Can't be too bad, it has a pair of awesome gargoyles out front. Just open the door if you want to go in. Kill, pillage, and destroy. That's all you think about, isn't it? You start to talk. You play around with it, but nothing seems to happen. You see a tall, thin, bearded man behind the counter.
Ahoy!
Ahoy. Well, let's see, are we?
We're all adrift some way.
How insightful. Allow me to quote that in my book of Who Cares.
Ah!
Now, young man, is there something I might help you with? My name? Well, you may call me Prospero. I make it most of the town calls me Mr. Magic. It amuses them. Magic? Well, that's quite a discussion. Perhaps we can converse about it when we have more time. There's an execution coming soon, and we'd better not be late. Rayford gets into quite a tizzy about these things. Goodbye.
It looks like they're getting ready for the execution, but it's not quite time yet. I suggest you explore more of the town. You should probably also talk to more people. That's what I would do. But I'm not you. Sadly, I'm just a disembodied voice.
Two future Rhodes scholars throwing dice in a cemetery. They'll probably be lords someday with the way this world works. This is a rather nice fountain. The water is pumped from the pond outside into the castle here. There's no point getting to know them now, they're all quite dead. They're too busy with their dice game to talk to you.
Whoa, boys. We better stop here for now. Rayford's got an execution going on soon. Don't worry, we'll be back later if you're game for some action.
This is Volksville's marketplace, where local merchants and farmers gather every 6th day to sell their wares.
Hello, sir. I am Dr. Frank. Doctor, friend, storyteller, and all-around good guy.
Good to know. You're just like an angry mage.
No, I just bought these robes in the last city I visited, Agrubo. It's a great city, amazing culture.
And now you're here?
Oh yes, I'm traveling north, but, you know, bridge out, so I'm staying here.
Sounds like fun. Take it easy.
Oh yes, I will, thanks.
Good afternoon, sir.
Boy, you must be tired.
No, I haven't been running through your mind all day. Stutter away, stutter boy.
Smooth move, X-Lax. It doesn't talk back.
Yeah, what do you want? Oh, and welcome to Matthew's Meat Hunt. Our meat beats your meat. They make me say that. What a place. People from all over stop in to do things. He's the local bully. What an arse. Well, other than you arriving, not much. He's some kind of wizard. I actually avoid him. He's kind of mean. Wow, that guy can talk, but he usually has good info. He's nothing exciting, but his daughter is pretty incredible. I'd love to talk to her someday, but every time I try, I almost poop my pants and I have to run away. Armand is pretty exotic. He goes everywhere to get his stuff. Owen and Gwen, they're pretty funny. I hear them fighting every morning. He's a real serious guy.
The ranger wraps up some potato and meat and practically throws it at you. What a charmer!
Hello, sir. I'm Burke, and these are my apples. Can I interest you in anything? One bly for an apple.
He's your typical town guard. He looks like he could almost get a spoon or a fork into his mouth without spilling too much food on himself. The horse stables smell like hay and horse droppings. Reminds you of your first apartment. The blade looks sharp and mean. Man, you don't want to end up under it. All the world's a stage. Except this one, you tend to lose your head. You start to talk. You have nothing to say to that.
Hey there!
Whoa there! Hello!
Sorry, I know that I'm shouting. I lost control of my voice in a freak accident, and now I always talk like this.
That's unfortunate, sir.
Well, could be worse. Rayford stations me here so I don't talk to a lot of people.
Good call.
I agree. Well, I'm going to continue standing guard. You have a great day, sir.
The door is locked. What a sign! It's certainly direct and to the point. It's a bench. A lovely bench, but a bench nonetheless. You think about how amusing it is that people can spend so much time crafting something you put your ass on, but then you remember that you've seen fancy toilets as well. It's a rather large building. It looks like it could house a lot of travelers. You wonder how many people actually come through Volksville. What a quaint and lovely place. You actually bet the rooms and beds are nice here, for a change.
Well, hello, young fellow. How are you?
I'm above ground. It's a start.
Indeed. Can I help you? Well, where are my manners? Ned O'King, adventurer, explorer, and cataloger of rare animals. And in some cases, monsters. Well, I travel from land to land looking for new species of animals. I catalog them all, and then I publish my findings. I have several books in print. They are fascinating, eh? I love your regular old bear or raccoon, but when you find that rare species, that's what makes the job. Well, there's an interesting subject. You do see them around here. I try to avoid them and study from afar. Mostly I try to talk to others who've seen and dealt with them. I use their information to write about how to deal with them. This area has such an interesting array of monsters, even undead. And the regions within each area are almost unique in their variety. There's the Volksville Woods, which currently surround us. To the west lie the grasslands, and just north and east of here are the 99-acre woods. Or the North Woods, as some call it. Up north and a little west of here is the Krosnan Swamp. Head south towards the ocean to see the amazing South Woods. Each area holds variety to keep me fascinated for years of study. Feel free to ask me about anything you might want to, and I'll tell you what I know.
The main creatures you'll encounter around here are the Rukiti. They're a red-skinned creature, generally armed with a flail, who are mean and will probably attack you on sight.
I've heard they're not too difficult to defeat in combat, although I've never tried myself. You'll probably encounter some brutes as well if you wander around enough. That's what they call the local brigands around here. Rough lot. A good offense is probably just slashing at these types instead of just trying to stab them. The grasslands are an amazing place. So vast and full of grass. I made a rhyme.
Besides the Rukiti, who seem to be most everywhere around these parts, you'll probably see some jaguars during the day and wolves at night.
Both are just normal animals. Nothing too special about them, except they seem to be more susceptible to slashing as opposed to other attacks. I surmise that to these creatures, the weapon looks like a giant steel claw, which sends them into a panic. But that's just a theory. You might find that wolf fur will go for a fair bly in the right place, too. What a fascinating place the 99-acre woods are. They originally started off as 100 acres, but rumor has it that it was measured wrong by the lord or king of the time. It was once an area set aside for hunting bears, but since it's been left to go wild, some giant spiders have moved in. Both of these animals are weak against your slashing attack. I've never ventured north into the swamps, although I hear it's a fascinating place. Check with the apothecarian in town here. He goes there or sends his young apprentice there to collect herbs and plants.
I can tell you that there are swamp Rukiti there, cousin to the red-skinned ones around these parts. They're more vicious than their cousins, but they tend to not like a stabbing attack. Throws them off their game.
Now what I am intrigued by in there is the giant snakes. I've never seen one before, but I hear they're a sight. Being a wild beast, I'd have to assume they wouldn't like a slashing motion of the sword, but don't quote me on that. The leaves and colors of the South Woods are amazing. Truly a great part of the world, but that doesn't mean there's not some fierce creatures about as well. The whole area is crawling with dwarves, and they're nothing like you see in books or hear about. Nasty little buggers. They'll cut you up and sell your body parts for a bly if they can. I really couldn't tell you the best way to deal with them except to stay away if you see them. Oh, the undead. Most people think these are just made-up fairy tales to scare young children, but they're certainly more than that. The old graveyard to the north has its fair share of wights, skeletons, and specters. The information I have on them is sketchy, but from what I understand, and there's a certain logic to this, they don't like being bashed. So your best bet is to hack away at them until they drop. Then, run like hell. It makes sense to me not to bother stabbing them. After all, there's no internal organs in the undead, so just what would you be stabbing, eh?
You don't know how to fight, and you're still alive? Well, you are an enigma, aren't you? Before we get into combat proper, I'll explain a couple of neat tricks I've learned over the years that might help you out. Always watch out for your enemy. They can be anywhere and tend to hide behind trees and such things. Once you enter an area, if there's an enemy about, you have about 5 seconds to decide what to do. You can always run away, or you can choose to attack. Just click your sword icon on them if that's what you want to do, and you'll get straight into the combat. Rogues also have the option of attempting to throw a dagger at an enemy.
which could stun them long enough for you to get close enough to slice their throat. Not very honorable, but you don't strike me as someone who would care about that. Now let's talk about combat itself. I'll just cover the basics here. You can learn more about class-specific actions yourself. I do warn you, I know all of this in theory, but in practice you might still have some learning to do. At the top, right above what I'm saying here, you'll see your own health as well as the health of your enemy. If either falls to 0, that person dies. You'll see across the bottom of your screen 4 buttons. These are your basic combat moves, and you use them by clicking on your preferred choice during combat. Each of these moves is attached to a statistic in your character sheet, which you can view by pressing Ctrl S or clicking on the shield icon on the main drop-down icon bar at the top of the screen. All of your moves use one specific skill, weapon % hit, which tells you how likely you are to hit your opponent. Then each of the other combat skills, hacking, stabbing, and slashing, increase the damage you do. Any attacking action taken in combat, whether successful or not, will go towards raising your skill level in that particular skill, as well as weapon % hit. The first button is stab, so why don't you give it a try? Don't worry if you don't hit. The Rukiti isn't real.
Damn it.
Well done! You've just performed your first stabbing action. It's a useful move to master. Now let's look at slashing. Click the slashing button and see what happens. Nicely done! That's slashing for you. Now for your final attack, hacking. Hacking is most certainly my preferred attack. Of course, I really prefer not to get into combat at all. You've got one final button on your combat panel, so let's try out some blocking. Blocking, or avoiding your opponent's weapon, is very useful in combat. A successful block will return 5 health to you and cause your enemy's attack to fail for that turn, so that's the basics of combat. I hope I've been helpful. Oh, before I let you go, I should point out a couple of other things you might find useful. I just turned on a 5th button on your combat panel. This one is your healing potions. Very useful in battle as they heal you for 10 points of health, so carry a few around with you. The number above the potion designates how many you're carrying. Give the button a click and watch yourself drink a healing potion. It's quite a magical sight to behold. Okay, that's all I really know about fighting. I hope it was helpful to you.